I grew my coaching business and my community from scratch before things like Facebook advertising and social media marketing were even a thing. And I did this by hosting a free live workshop each month for almost a whole year to build my confidence, to challenge myself to create content ongoing, and to really connect and build trust with my community. I've helped my one-on-one and Emerge and Expand mastermind clients create free live experiences, one-on-one themed sessions, and other ways for them to stand out in a crowded market and showcase their expertise, connect deeply with their people, whilst also growing their community, their email list, and inviting people to take the next step with them. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to design a signature free experience that showcases your expertise and mirrors your offer so potential clients can feel what it's like to work with you in the container that you're inviting them into without having to do big launches or follow a one-size-fits-all strategy for inviting people into your offers that doesn't actually reflect the offer that you're inviting people into. If we haven't met before, I'm Catherine Mackenzie-Smith. I'm a cozy business coach and visibility strategist, and for the past 10 years, I've been supporting introverted, highly sensitive, and neurodivergent solopreneurs to understand their strengths and energy, ditch the empire building pressure, and create success on their own terms. I know so many of us have been taught the big launch models, or that we should be able to sell in our Instagram DMs or via email, but in my experience, actually creating intentional opportunities for people to be in your energy, to connect with you in a more intimate way, and to show them exactly what it looks like to work with you in a bite-sized kind of way, you are able to build that trust, that rapport, and that connection so much faster than anything else you're probably doing in your business. And I don't know about you, doing those big launches, trying to cut through the noise on social media and creating surface level kind of connections with my people is just not something that really works for me or is really aligned with my cozy business philosophy. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to share with you why I think creating free experiences to help showcase your work is better than big traditional kind of launching and marketing, some simple steps to get started creating your own experience today, an implementation guide to try this out and make it work for you and your business, a bit of the community building strategy behind this, and how you can use these experiences to continue connecting with your audience, creating more content, and inviting people into the next opportunity. This is something that I first started playing with some of my clients a couple of years ago, and I recently templatized the whole strategy and put it together in a dashboard. But today I'm going to share the basics with you so that you can decide if this is the right thing for you and how to get started. Next, let's talk about experience marketing versus traditional kinds of marketing. I was watching a Laurel Portier video recently, and she talked about how she's been using video in her organic and paid content for years now. And the more time people spend watching her videos, the more they know, like, and trust her and know that she's someone who can help them with their Facebook ads. And I love that so much because it reminded me of all those years ago when I built my audience purely through monthly themed workshops. So this is kind of part of an ongoing series where I've been talking about different ways you can create opportunities for people to experience working with you. I recently shared how to create and set up a 30-minute free session to invite people into to actually connect, get experience talking to people, understand the shared themes and challenges your audience are having, be able to create a really quick win for people, and then have the invitation for them to either go and take that plan and implement it themselves, or they can come and work with you further in your one-on-one experience. In another video, I also talked about becoming your best client case study by documenting your journey and actually showing people what the transformation is by sharing each week how you're taking the tools, the modalities, the resources that you share with your clients and implementing them into your own life so you can create content whilst also showing your audience exactly what the transformation is like, showcasing your skills and also what it's like to work with you in a deeper way. This video is taking that one step further because not everyone is doing one-on-one work. And this comes back to my TV experience when I did a screenwriting 101 and we were taught to show, not tell what was actually happening on the screen. I personally am not a fan of big long sales pages and using the kind of marketing tactics to create urgency and scarcity and really talk people into our offer. And so creating experiences where people can get a real feel for exactly what it's like to be in your world and work with you further is so much more alluring to me. Many of my clients and Emerge and Expand members are planning on doing things like group programs, courses, energy healing, and memberships. And this means that the traditional launch strategies of 3-day challenges, webinars, workshops don't necessarily align for everyone in how they can best showcase exactly what it's like to work with you. Many of my clients are actually energy healers and they have all these incredible skills and modalities that are their own unique bodies of work and that differentiate them from all the different opportunities and practitioners that are out there. The thing is that it's really hard to actually create and share that transformation in sales copy. And so this whole idea actually came a few years ago when I was talking to one of my clients who had started running community sessions where people could come together for free. There would be a theme or an oracle card or tarot reading, and then everyone would have the opportunity to journal and just be in the energy of that and then share and reflect. We started to map out what they could do to really make the most of these sessions, not just use them for community, but also to invite new people into that opportunity. And from there, it's expanded out over the years. One of my clients is an Akashic Records reader. And in a world where a lot of people may not even know what that is, creating an opportunity for people to really be in the energy of that, to understand it and to learn the process is going to be so much more compelling and easy to understand than reading about it on a page. And so instead of just creating a one-size-fits-all format, which is one that we know many online programs and businesses use, that is really just about relaying information, let's take this a little bit further, customize it to your offer, and really show your community exactly what they can expect when they step into your paid offer. For many people, they worry about the energy involved in this, but I promise you, if you create something that really works for you, this could be such a powerful way to connect with your audience, to really build that trust, to have ongoing nurturing and opportunities for people to connect with you, and that it's something you could even include in your ongoing program or membership, but that you give people an opportunity to try one time. So say you're already doing a monthly call or a co-working session, a monthly masterclass or something like that. For new people that come into your community, you could give them the opportunity to come along to one of your sessions for free. This means you're actually not creating any extra load, and you could so easily include that in your welcome email sequence. And honestly, the sky's the limits in terms of what kind of opportunity you create. As I said, for myself, I've done many free workshops over the years, but I also do one-on-one, so I love the 30-minute free session. And I'm always interested in exploring new ways for people to come into contact with me and experience what it's like to be in one of my programs. So this could be group experiences, interactive workshops, live demonstrations, anything that you are currently doing in your offer that you could turn into a mini experience that you could invite people into so they could really get a feel for what it's like to join. And whilst social media content, YouTube content, emails, sales pages, all of those things are important and can really help, adding in this extra little special element, even if it's something that you only run a couple of times a year, is going to help you stand out in a crowded market, really deeply connect with your people, showcase your expertise, and create an experience that could really help your people, whether they decide to work with you further or not, which they're always going to remember. So let's go through the simple steps to get started if this is something that you feel is a really good idea. As I said, you could use it as a launch offer that you do just a couple of times a year, or something that you do on a more regular ongoing basis just to give back to your community. Or you could even take a little piece and every now and again invite people to check it out for free. So step one is to identify your paid offer's core transformation, or something that really sets it apart from everything else in your industry or niche that's out there. Take the things that you love to do, that you do naturally very well and are a really important part of your framework or offer, and brainstorm some different ways that you could turn those into a meaningful mini experience. And so, for example, my Emerge and Expand Mastermind, it has all sorts of things. We do a weekly group coaching call, we have weekly co-working sessions, and we have an ongoing customized plan for each member that is actually started in the free 30-minute session that I offer. For anyone who books in for that, they get the plan to take with them that they can get started with. And if they decide to ever join Emerge and Expand, it then becomes a shared document that we work on together to be able to help them move forward. Step two is to look at your list of all the different ideas that you've come up with and distill that down into something that you would be really happy and excited to launch, that you know your community would get a lot out of. This isn't about taking away from your paid offers. It really is thinking on that abundance mindset that if you can create an incredibly powerful and transformative free session, this is going to exponentially increase the amount of people who are interested in taking the next steps and work with you further. But if you can make sure to actually make it into something that just fits into the work you're already doing, or that you have the time and capacity and energy for, I know it's going to make a huge impact on the long-term relationships and connections that you're building with your people. Step three is to really sit down and plan out what that session could look like. I recommend not making it too long because you want to make the most of the time and energy you have available, but also being respectful of the people who are coming along as well. This is why the 30-minute session works so well, because you can really distill the essence of a coaching session into a very small amount of time. And I recently spoke to someone in a community who was offering free 2-hour calls. Not only do I feel like that takes away away from your paid offers, but it also really reduces the amount of people you can talk to each month. The same goes for creating new content every month. I wish back then I had thought about creating a signature workshop that I could run each month that I could really refine over and over again, and then break down a little mini win or how you can show the value of what you're offering so that your people, whether they join your next offer or not, take something away from that session while you're showcasing your expertise and building that community connection. And step 4 is to brainstorm different ways that you can create natural bridges into your paid offer. This could be having a very thought out and structured pitch at the end of your experience, having a follow-up email sequence with a special bonus or offer for the people that came live, talking about your offer throughout the experience, and showcasing or highlighting some of the members or clients or people that have gotten results from working with you. It could even be including a resource or two from your paid offer so people can really get the full experience of what it looks like when they come and join. But at some point, you want to have a clear next step for people, and even giving them the option of, hey, you have this now, you can go off and do this. This is your next step. This is how you can implement this or take action after this session. Or you have the opportunity that you can come and work with me further, and we can work together to get that extra accountability and that ongoing support for the next however many months your program goes for. This really helps people to see there's no pressure to join, but there's also 2 really clear paths depending on their own motivation, how long they want it to take, and if they really would like that extra support. So once you've had a bit of a think about a different kind of experience that you could create for your audience as a part of your list building, your community nurturing, and your ongoing bridge to a launch or to an offer that you're inviting people into, let's talk about how you can really implement this after watching this video. Choosing the right format for your business and for your own strengths and energy is super important. Running a 2-hour workshop, for example, every single month just might be something you don't have the time or energy for. If you're inviting people into a group program because you know one-on-one is just too much for you and you don't have the capacity to do lots of one-on-one calls, then offering a free one-on-one session is going to maybe not be in alignment with what you need right now. So this is going to help you to actually replicate what your group program might look like by creating small group opportunities with limited spots for people to check it out each month. If you know that adding an extra element every single month is just going to be too much for you right now, can you space it out to being every couple of months, once a quarter? Or is there a way you can have a special limited time invitation for people to come and experience one session of something you're already doing? When we owned our fitness studios, this 7-day free trial was the easiest way to do this, where people would be able to come for 7 days, train with us for free, get a feel for the studio, the trainers, the other members, and the style of training. So it reduced the risk of them joining and worrying about wasting their money. And that is just another reason why creating some sort of experience actually is going to be more compelling for people to join your paid offers. Because even if you have a 30-day money back guarantee or something people can cancel anytime, creating a free mini experience also helps to manage and reduce the risk that people might associate with paying to work with you further. So you want to think about choosing the right format and how often you're going to do it for your business, your current capacity, your time, your energy, and your strengths. And this might be something that you work on. When I started doing my free workshops every month, I had never really done anything like that before, and it quickly made me up-level my skills, my confidence, and my ability to put together a full workshop very quickly. But you also don't have to commit to something long-term. You could do this once, test it out, see how you feel afterwards, and then decide how you're going to improve, evolve, and tweak it for next time. This is a strategy I shared with one of my Emerge and Expand members last year, who was really worried about the extra time and energy it would be to create something like this to invite people into her offer. And I said, you don't have to commit to doing a workshop every single month. In fact, if you created a 30-minute experience where people could come in and do some of your energy work, this would be so much more interesting for people than being bogged down with lots of information that's actually quite exhausting for you to deliver and still doesn't really give them an idea of what it's like to really work with you. But it's also not something you have to commit to doing every month in a different kind of way. So commit to trying it once and then reviewing at the end what can be reused, repurposed, how you can reflect this and document and share it back to your audience, and how you can improve it or make changes that are going to work better for your strengths and your energy. You're also going to want to think about how you're going to maintain your boundaries with people who want something for free so that you don't take away from your paying clients. And this is something people worry about all the time. If I give all this amazing value for free, it's taking away from my clients. And the reality is that most of the time, what our clients are actually paying for is the access to us, the ongoing support, accountability, and the community environment, or whatever it is that we're offering in our paid offer. So you want to sit down and think about what your boundaries are going to be. Is it that people will only be allowed to come along once? This is something I learned the hard way by having a different free workshop every single month, is that people could continue to come and learn and be in my energy and ask questions and get support every single month without ever having to join anything. By creating one experience that is used to bring in new people every single month, sure, people can come along every month as it evolves and grows, but there's going to come a point where they're ready to take the next step and get more access to us or more support through our paid offers. You also want to think about your follow-up and how you're connecting with people and talking to them to answer their questions and give them that opportunity and invitation to work with you further. And sometimes you don't realize this until it happens, that you need to sort of put boundaries into place. I personally find it really helpful to put the situation into ChatGPT and get a really professional and helpful email template to be able to set boundaries and let people know how they can get that extra support if they're DMing and asking a lot of questions when they join one of my paid offers. So really think about that, because you don't want to necessarily just be doing lots and lots of free stuff all the time. And whilst I really believe in showing up and giving really amazing value in our free content as much as our paid offers, at the end of the day, this is a marketing tool to help grow your business whilst also honoring your paying client. So maybe just spend a few minutes thinking about how you're going to make this work. Is it that people have the opportunity to join once, and if they'd like to come to a future session, that they need to join your membership or your other offer? And making sure to have clarity around things like your free 30-minute session is a one-time invitation for people to be able to take you up on. The next thing I know that people are going to worry about when thinking about trying this out is how to stay energized and make it sustainable. And there's a few things that I think about with this. The first one is that you're not tied into anything. If you make this something that you're just trying out and you just commit to experimenting with it for 1 month, you can try it and then review at the end if it's something that worked in terms of what the outcomes were, how you felt, what impact it made by having this extra energy and activity in your business, and then how often you might want to repeat it. You might realize that this is actually something really energizing, and connecting with your people in this way actually gives you extra momentum, and that is really helping you in your business. So let's not worry about things before they happen. Commit to trying something, keep it really low key. Don't say I'm going to do this every month for the rest of the year or for the next 6 months. Just commit to the first time and then make a decision from there. Is there a way that you can make it easier? Is there a way you can make it shorter or more streamlined, or that you can make some changes and maybe even share the replay after you've run the session live? And this is where choosing the format is really important, and something that you might just need to test out until you find the right thing for you. Something like co-working is a really chill, low-key kind of way to connect with your audience without having to do too much. We do co-working in Emerge and Expand. We really just connect at the start of the call for about 5 or 10 minutes where everyone talks about what they're doing, and then everyone gets to work. We turn our cameras and audio off, and then we come back at the end and share what we've been working on. That is such an easy session to run, and it's actually my members' favorite thing because they get so much done in that time, and there's something about that community coming together in that way that is just so magical, which is going to be so different from running a brand new workshop every single month that you have to plan out, you have to create all the content for, write it all out, and create a whole different promotional and follow-up sequences for, because you're changing the theme or the topic every single month. So just some examples of how to do this with my clients who are setting out doing their 30-minute free sessions. We start with just a couple of free spots a month so that it really takes the pressure off, and so they can also start to get a feel for how many calls they have the capacity for each week. This is something I do as well. By keeping those spots limited, it means that I don't overextend myself, that I'm always talking to new people throughout the month, and that I'm not taking away energy from my paying one-on-one clients, my Emerge and Expand members, or the other ways that I'm showing up in my business to support my people. By committing to my weekly YouTube videos, my live Q&As in the Cozy Business Common Room, and also adding in one signature workshop to introduce people to my Cozy Business methodology, I know that I have the energy and capacity to manage that. But the best thing is to start really small with what feels the easiest, try it out, review it, and then make a decision about what you're going to do next month. And then I'm going to just touch very quickly on how you can then use this event as the cornerstone of all your content for the month. So this is something I came up with a couple of years ago with my client that was doing the tarot and oracle sessions. In the lead up to that monthly community call, making sure to let people know via email, via social media, that it was coming up and how they could register their spot to come along. along, using social media like Instagram stories to be documenting how that's all coming together, what things are going on behind the scenes. And again, that call to action to register. Having a reminder sequence or lead-in sequence for people to remember to come along and what they're going to get out of it. Plus a follow-up sequence for afterwards that you could easily automate every single month. And then using that session or that workshop or that experience to reflect to your wider audience what came up, what themes were present, even sharing the card that was pulled and some of your reflections from that session without obviously sharing, personal information from anyone, just being able to do a general wrap up and overview of your own personal reflections from it. To then use that as a way to get people to start registering for the next one if they missed this one. Once you have those cornerstone kind of themes or ideas, you can then brainstorm out how can I turn this into other content depending on the platforms or the formats that you're using. And then you could just constantly be reminding people of either what they just missed or what's coming up, which bookends your content so nicely throughout the month. And that leads me just quickly to a little bit about how this is a bigger, longer term community building strategy. So when we really think about it from that bigger picture, not just expecting that immediate return on investment, although as you get better and you create that follow-up and you give people reasons to join your paid offers from these experiences, you're going to see those as well. But even for those people who don't necessarily take action straight away, you've built a much deeper connection with them than if they had just been on your email list or following you on social media. You just never know what other opportunities are going to come with that. My client that does the Akashic Records readings did a whole bunch of free readings back last year. And not only did paying clients come from that, she also got referrals and got promoted in somebody else's group from someone who had had an amazing experience with her. We just have no idea who we're going to get in front of. And my favorite thing for someone whose energy is really precious, and I'm juggling a lot of balls as a solopreneur as well, is that when we're creating opportunities for energy and activity in our business, that is when people are most magnetized and curious about our work. If we're just sending out a random email every now and again, or we're posting sporadically on social media, that is so often when we're not seeing those calls come through or people inquiring about our work, it starts to stagnate, and that can become a very downward spiral into why am I even doing this business and should I quit? If we can create opportunities to come together with our community, really connect with them at a deeper level than maybe anybody else in our industry is doing, we're going to build so much more connection with them than anybody else. And I think this goes one step above just creating video content and people spending time learning from you and watching your videos. Because when you can have those real engagements, it is so different from anything else. It also means that when we've actually met somebody and learned something or taken something really special away from that experience, when we see them pop up on Instagram or an email comes through from them to our inbox, we have a totally different reference point compared to everyone else who's currently emailing us. And that means that our ideal clients are going to be less likely to unsubscribe. They're going to be more likely or more excited to see us on social media and engage with our content. And they're probably going to go and watch a whole bunch of other stuff that we've created as well. When we're bookending our experience, especially if we're doing it on a regular basis, such as having a certain number of free sessions available each month or creating a monthly live experience, that really does mean we can create that anticipation for future sessions whilst creating really high value content to share with our audience at the same time. And the more our people see us, the better it's going to be. If your experience has only a set number of availability, it means you can start to build wait lists. You can start to connect with people and send them a DM, for example, and say that you don't actually have a spot available for your sessions right now, but that you'll pop them on the wait list. And then maybe you have something else you can support them with while they're waiting. And by documenting the experiences we're creating in this way, we also have the ability to expand the themes or the content of those sessions, whatever came up, whatever seemed to maybe be a common thread in the experiences people were having, that then can give us ideas for ongoing content we can create. And even having that social proof of people sharing their experience, DMing us later with feedback or telling us how they felt about the session, and then of course getting permission to share those, and then having that as another way to invite people to get in for the next session. The thing that makes this different, I think, from any other kind of launch activity or launch event, even evergreen ones, is that We're thinking outside the box and tailoring something specifically that's going to best showcase your paid offer that may not be a workshop or a webinar. So I would love to know, are you going to try this out? Are you already doing something like this? Or do you have any questions about how you could tailor it to your unique offer and expertise? If you have any questions, please pop them in the comments below, and make sure that you go back and watch my video about your 30-minute session and being your best client case study. You can watch both of those here. If you're interested in my Experience-Fire Your Expertise training and toolkit, I'll pop the details to that below. Thanks again so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.